Imagine that evolution is not just a biological process, not just the slow unfolding of species and ecosystems, but the very movement of the cosmos toward greater complexity, awareness, and unity. Now imagine that this movement has a direction, a goal toward which all creation is converging, a final point of cosmic consciousness where the universe awakens fully to itself in the embrace of the divine. This was the vision of Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, a French Jesuit priest, paleontologist, and mystic whose daring synthesis of science and spirituality in the 20th century gave birth to one of the most striking ideas in modern theology, the Omega Point. Teilhard believed that evolution was not random but teleological, guided by a divine pull from the future, drawing all beings into an ultimate unity with God. In this video, we will journey into Teilhard's thought, exploring how his scientific training and mystical insight fused into a cosmic vision of evolution, how he understood consciousness as the axis of creation, why he saw Christ as the Omega Point incarnate, and how his ideas resonate today in science, spirituality, and the search for meaning. Pierre Teilhard de Chardin was born in 1881 in the French region of Auvergne, into a family where both faith and science were cherished. He entered the Jesuit order at a young age, studying theology and philosophy, but he was equally drawn to geology and paleontology, eventually becoming one of the world's leading experts on fossil evolution. He took part in expeditions in China, contributing to the discovery of the famous Peking Man, and his scientific career gave him a deep appreciation for the vast timescales of Earth's history and the intricate unfolding of life. Yet Teilhard was not content with separating science from faith. For him, the two had to speak to each other, because reality itself was one. He believed that evolution was not just a matter of biology, but a spiritual process, moving toward a higher consciousness. His writings, often suppressed during his lifetime by church authorities for their boldness, circulated widely after his death, inspiring countless readers with their blend of scientific insight and mystical passion. Teilhard was a man of two worlds, scientist and priest, and his cosmology reflects this dual vocation, rigorous, evolutionary, yet profoundly spiritual. Teilhard observed that over the course of cosmic history, matter has evolved from simplicity toward increasing levels of complexity, from subatomic particles to atoms, from atoms to molecules, from molecules to cells, and from cells to organisms. Each stage gave rise to structures of greater intricacy. But Teilhard saw more than just physical change. He saw consciousness emerging alongside complexity. For him, the two went hand in hand. Greater complexity of matter led to higher levels of awareness. This culminated, on Earth, in the emergence of human consciousness, the universe becoming self-aware through us. He called this principle complexity consciousness, a law of evolution by which matter naturally tends toward deeper levels of awareness. Evolution, then, was not directionless. It had an arrow pointing toward increasing consciousness, integration, and unity. Human beings are not an accidental byproduct of blind processes, but a key turning point in the cosmos where the universe awakens to itself in reflective thought. If the biosphere is the realm of life encircling the Earth, Teilhard proposed that there is another layer, the Noosphere, the sphere of mind and thought that emerges when human consciousness becomes collective. Just as the geosphere gave rise to the biosphere, so too the biosphere has given rise to the Noosphere through the evolution of intelligence, culture, language, and technology. The Noosphere is not just metaphorical. It is the living web of shared awareness that binds humanity together, expanding as we communicate, cooperate, and create. Teilhard believed that this Noosphere would continue to grow until it encompassed the whole planet, uniting humanity in a network of consciousness. Today, many see in this vision an anticipation of the Internet, global communication, and the idea of a planetary mind. But for Teilhard, the Noosphere was more than a social phenomenon. It was a step in the cosmic movement toward the Omega Point, the final convergence of all minds in divine unity. At the heart of Teilhard's vision is the Omega Point, the final culmination of evolution, where consciousness converges into perfect unity with the divine. Unlike a simple endpoint, Omega is both the goal of the process and the force drawing it forward, a transcendent attractor pulling the cosmos toward itself. Teilhard identified the Omega point with Christ, not merely as a historical figure, but as the cosmic Christ, the Logos in whom all things are created and toward whom all things are drawn. In this vision, Christ is the unifying center of the universe, the personal presence of God drawing creation into final communion. The Omega point is not annihilation but fulfillment, the point where multiplicity and individuality are preserved yet harmonized in a higher unity of love and consciousness. For Teilhard, evolution is not moving toward entropy and dissolution, but toward the flowering of spirit, the completion of creation in God. Teilhard's theology of the Omega point was inseparable from his Christology. He saw in the Incarnation, God becoming human in Christ, the pivot point of cosmic evolution, where the divine entered history to unite itself with matter. The resurrection and ascension of Christ, in Teilhard's interpretation, were not events limited to the past, but ongoing realities, signs of the ultimate destiny of the universe. In Christ, the coincidence of divine and human points toward the ultimate union of all creation with God. Teilhard's mystical writings often describe a profound sense of the divine presence in matter, in the earth, in the energy of life itself. For him, the Eucharist was not only a sacrament of the Church, but a cosmic act, consecrating the whole world and drawing it toward Omega. In this way, Teilhard combined a scientific vision of evolution with a deeply mystical sense of Christ at its center, offering a vision of the universe as a sacred drama of divine becoming. Though Teilhard wrote in the early 20th century, his ideas resonate strongly with contemporary thought. His concept of the Noosphere finds echoes in global networks, systems theory, and discussions of collective intelligence. His law of complexity consciousness parallels ideas in neuroscience and evolutionary biology that link complexity to emergent properties of mind. The Omega point even resembles certain cosmological speculations about the universe tending toward maximum information or coherence. Philosophers of mind who explore panpsychism or integrated information theory find in Teilhard a precursor who saw consciousness as fundamental to the cosmos. Critics have challenged his optimism, noting that evolution involves extinction and suffering. But Teilhard would reply that these are part of the process of convergence, strife and love woven together in the birth of something greater. His vision provides a counterpoint to materialist narratives of a meaningless universe, offering instead a teleological, sacred cosmology where consciousness and spirit are the deepest realities. Teilhard's Omega point is not just a future hope, but a present orientation. To live toward Omega is to align one's life with the movement of evolution, to contribute to the growth of unity, love, and consciousness in the world. This means fostering connection rather than division, cooperation rather than conflict, seeing in every act of creativity, compassion, or discovery a step toward the final convergence. Teilhard's spirituality is deeply ecological and communal. The universe is not a backdrop but a participant in our journey. Humanity is not a collection of isolated individuals but a single body of consciousness. To recognize this is to live with a sense of sacred responsibility, knowing that our thoughts, choices, and actions are part of the great cosmic unfolding toward Omega. For Teilhard, faith is not an escape from evolution, but a commitment to help bring it to fulfillment. Pierre Teilhard de Chardin's vision of the Omega point offers a breathtaking synthesis of science and spirituality, one that sees the universe not as blind and meaningless, but as a sacred journey toward divine awakening. Evolution, in his telling, is the story of matter becoming life, life becoming mind, and mind converging into spirit. The Noosphere spreads across the earth as humanity becomes increasingly interconnected, and beyond it lies the final convergence, the Omega point, where all consciousness unites in God. Whether we interpret this literally or symbolically, Teilhard's vision inspires us to see our lives and our world as part of a grand cosmic process, pregnant with meaning and directed toward transcendence. In the end, his message is one of hope, that the universe is not winding down into silence, but rising up into song, the song of a cosmos awakening to itself in the embrace of divine consciousness.